Welcome, Mile Thrivers. I'm Linda Matthews, and today I'm going to be introducing you to all the different types of tools that you can incorporate into your rituals and ceremony kit. And depending upon what rituals or ceremonies you want to get involved with, or are interested in, there will be different tools that you can add. If you do multiple different types of practices, as I do, your kit can get quite large. And you may, in fact, have more than one kit, depending upon what you're focusing on that day. But let us begin. I'm going to show you some different items that are very popular and very common to have within your ceremonies and ritual kit. And you can decide as you go along things that resonate with you, that make you feel good when you are performing your ceremonies or practicing your particular rituals. So it's really going to be a very personal thing. I'm just here to invite you to see what is possible and you decide from there. All right, first thing that we're going to do whenever we're doing any type of ritual or ceremony is we're going to be clearing our space, cleaning our space. And some of you may already know this, some of you may not be familiar, but very common to use in ceremonies is white sage. Now, I always recommend using a shell or a bowl that is not flammable, of course, because you're going to be lighting the white sage. You're going to be saging your room or your area or your altar, whatever you decide is appropriate for you. And that is going to clean and clear. Now I've used white sage to sage my entire home and get rid of any energies that I didn't feel were conducive to my positivity. So that is always an option. White sage is your first. Also, you can incorporate a shaman's wand or feather. I use this many times with the saging. I can go around like this with the saging, or I will use it when I've done a Reiki session or a sound healing session, or sometimes even a breathwork session. And I just want to invite any lingering energies to leave the space, leave the room. So I use this as a symbol of inviting those energies to leave the space. All right. Another option we have for clearing our space is a spray. This is a liquid sage and is very simple to use. Just take the cap off and you can spray the room with sage. And you'll smell that lovely smell and you will clear any energies that you don't want within your area. And so that is a beautiful thing to use as well. So depending upon what type of ceremony or ritual you're going to do, I'm going to go step by step through the different items. If you are working on, perhaps you're getting really into meditation or hypnosis meditations, and you want something very sacred for your practice. This is going to be your practice. It's a ritual that you're going to be performing. You're going to be performing this ritual whether it's a daily basis, a weekly basis, however you choose to do it. So when we are doing a meditation, I love to bring in a little bit of sound. And so I have these lovely. Now you can use chimes, you can use really anything. You can use a gong. I have a gong behind me. You can use any other sound items that you prefer. You can use a singing bowl. I just chose to show this today. I keep it in this beautiful little bag, and that way I always have it handy when I want to do any type of meditation with myself or with clients. And I do use it in my sound healing practice as well. So it's a wonderful tool for that. Another thing you might want to incorporate into your space. These are all things we're incorporating to the space first. Okay, you may want to have a symbol of something very spiritual. I have this small little Buddha sculpture that I love to have within my own personal area when I'm doing any type of work like this, ceremonies or rituals. I like to, because Buddha is so enlightened, and I like to bring that enlightened energy with me. And notice he is in the color purple, which is the third eye chakra, and it is enlightenment. So that's another little thing I'd like to share with you. Crystals, we can bring crystals into our space to work with. I have this beautiful amethyst, also purple. And amethyst, again, that third eye chakra. So we were bringing in some enlightenment into our ceremony ritual practice. All right. We might want to have something, a different type of energy that we're going to work with. I have this beautiful yellow, it's bumblebee jasper, and that is wonderful for bringing in some joy, right? Some positivity, some happiness, enlightenment as well. But yellow is the color of your solar plexus chakra, and that is your personal power. So maybe you want to enhance your personal power. You would bring in a yellow crystal for something like that. It's a wonderful thing. I also have here a wand, easy to fit into any kit. This is a gorgeous little selenite wand, and I work with this sometimes. And when I say kit, you can have a bag as small as this and fit almost every item into it. So let's say you don't have space for an altar, but you want to have a kit for your personal practice. You can fit just about everything into a bag that size. So that's another option for you rather than having it out all the time. Of course, if you want to create a personal altar, that's a beautiful thing to do as well. And that's actually a ritual in and of itself. Another color you might want to bring in is pink. And that is the heart chakra. That is for love, compassion, and self-love. And you may need to bring some of that in when you're doing your own ceremonies or rituals. You may need to bring in some self-love to help you along. Nothing wrong with that. It's a beautiful thing to do. Okay, other tools that we may want to work with depending upon what type of ceremony we're doing. I'm still going with things for our space, and I have these platonic solids, and they are actually clear quartz crystals. I will just show a few of them. They are clear quartz crystals, and they are wonderful for meditation and even for bringing into other practices, perhaps Reiki, if you're going to do your own personal healing ceremony, any type of releasing ceremony. These are very strong tools to bring in with you. So you can even use these in your moon rituals. And many people are getting into doing the moon rituals now. And so I'm going to show in just a moment, I'm going to show that. Also, I have these little things, and these are not hard to find if you look them up, okay? Platonic solids you can look up. These are some sacred geometry symbols. So I have some small sacred geometry symbols. They are very enlightening, very inspiring. So these are things you can add to your own personal area. This is Flower of Life. I love Flower of Life. I'm going to hold it next to my shirt so you can see it even better. I love Flower of Life. And you can see a lot of mandala books today have all of these things incorporated into them. And that's a great personal practice for a meditation if you'd like to try that. Another thing that is great in our space is incense, burning incense. This happens to be my favorite kind of incense. This is frankincense and myrrh. Triloka is the maker of this incense, and I absolutely love it. I love frankincense and myrrh, and I'm going to show you. We have this little stand, and you put these incense stick on the stand and then light it. And that can fill your space with that positive energy. And so I'm going to just show you quickly how to do that. Not a very complicated thing. It's quite simple. but it also adds something, a little bit of reverence to your area. And sometimes even just preparing your space can get you really into the mood of doing these wonderful rituals and ceremonies. And so you would put that into the little hole, and the stand will hold it. You will light the tip. It will start to smoke, and you will have that beautiful. I already have this beautiful fragrance just from taking it out of the package. It's wonderful. And so that's a great thing to incorporate into your space as well. If you've never worked with incense before, I recommend going to one of the spiritual stores, perhaps smelling a few, and see if you're drawn to any of them. See what you might be drawn to. That's a wonderful thing to do. You can also bring in essential oils. That's a wonderful thing as well. All right, if we're doing, again, a meditation practice, ritual, there is something called a self-care candle box. That is really great. Light for happy mind and wellness moments. And this is a wonderful thing. This has inside of it these small little, it's got a little stand for your candle, and it's got all different colored candles depending upon what you might be working on. Right? And that will hold your candle. You can use this for your meditation. You can use it for candle gazing. It is a wonderful tool, and all different colors of candles for the different chakras. If you want to work with your different chakras, that works quite well. And it even has some wonderful little sayings that you can read that will inspire you. I love that. I'll read you a little bit. We live in an extremely fast-paced world, and sometimes we forget to check in with ourselves. And isn't that the purpose of a meditation? To really ground yourself and be within yourself. All you need is to slow down and treasure meaningful moments that are found in the everyday. These candles actually burn for 20 minutes. And if you don't have a lot of time, that's the perfect time for a little bit of meditation. Could be done in the morning, could be done in the evening. It's a wonderful thing. I love it. Absolutely love it. The next thing that I am going to show you is my kit for moon rituals. And I know a lot of people are into the moon rituals today. I keep a lot of my little, I use that bag, but I keep a lot of my little pieces in a box that I painted, hand painted, because it's a little more significant to me that way. But you can do it any way that is comfortable to you. That's the point. This is your practice. These are your ceremonies, your rituals for your spiritual enlightenment. And sometimes they just bring you a feeling of peace and harmony. And that's a wonderful thing too. So in here, I have a tiny little glass bowl that I burn my pieces of sage in. I have a little bag with sage in it. I have some crystals that are perfect for moon rituals, right type of crystals for the moon rituals. And I have a candle that also fits within this box. And I use white because it is purifying. But you can call in any color that you need to, just like we did with the crystals. You can do the same with your candles. You can align it to your chakras or to whatever you'd like to bring into your ritual. Now, full moon rituals are for release, and that is a beautiful and wonderful thing. So, what you also need for your moon rituals is a journal. So I happen to have this journal. I've been writing this journal for quite some time. I love this journal. It was gifted to me by a very, very dear friend of mine who was also one of my Reiki teachers. She gifted me this journal, and that is what I use with my moon rituals. And also this journal, which goes a little more into detail. And so once you've established your practice, you've been doing your practice for a while, you can move on to a little bit more challenging. In the beginning, do yourself a favor, keep it simple, keep it lighter, because if you do that, you won't get overwhelmed. It won't take too much time, and you'll have more of an opportunity to connect with the actual ceremony or ritual, doing it that way. Now, I also bring in my cards. I have two decks, two different Moonology decks that work wonderfully for the moon rituals. And what I do is I take the deck out and I choose one card from each deck to incorporate into my moon ritual. And this can be done for any of the moon rituals, not just full moon, but we are talking about for beginners, just what we need to have to begin our rituals and ceremonies. All right. If you don't have as many items to bring in and you just want to get started, then I suggest grab yourself a nice journal. I'm actually going to have a moon ritual on here for you to do and incorporate that into my app, Mile First. And you can download that app on either Google Play Store or on Apple, the App Store. And you can dive into starting your own basic ceremonies or rituals that way. All right, and one more thing I'm going to share with you. If you are a person who loves tarot, I'm going to show you what's in my tarot kit, just so that you can have something else to choose from. First thing I have is a plain composition book that I write all of my readings into my composition book. And that way I can later come back and reflect on the reading. And I love that. I also incorporate here, I have several different decks that I incorporate in with my tarot decks. I'll show you those in just a second. I have the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck. That is a wonderful deck to work with. So I add those cards in. I also add my Gateway, and I also add my Spirit Animal deck in. But let me show you how I set up the tools that I use. I also have this wonderful little piece, and it comes with this tiny stand, and it is actually got a flower of life on it, and it has some stones and crystals within, and it just gives me a focal point when I am receiving intuitive messages from my tarot cards. So it's something that I can glance at, and it is an eye fascination, and it gives me a little help with my intuitive messages. Again, you can use anything that resonates with you. This happens to resonate with me, and that's why I bring it in. And of course, I always use my sage. And when I'm doing tarot, I will use the spray sage more often. When I do the moon ceremonies, I use the burning sage. So just a little options that I have become particularly fond of. Then I have my tarot deck. So I have that. I have my actual tarot deck. And then I have my second deck, which is my major arcana deck. And this deck I actually made myself. And you can see I keep these decks in pouches, velvet pouches. And when I'm working with these decks, I clear them before I choose any cards. Now, this is my major arcana deck, which I made myself. It is absolutely gorgeous to work with. I love it. And I usually select 3 cards from here, keep that on one side of my spread, and I select my 3 oracle cards, one from the animal spirit deck, one from the gateway deck, and one from the other deck that I showed you first, which was the Kyle Gray deck. Kyle Gray is huge with all of these things. And so he is somebody you will hear again and again. Just like when you're looking at Moon, you will see Yasmin Boland's name quite a lot. So these are names that you can look at. And if you are a person who likes to incorporate cards in, it's a wonderful thing to incorporate into any of your ceremonies and rituals if you feel intuitively guided to do so. All right. That's what we have today for tools that we use in rituals and ceremonies. I hope this has been a little bit enlightening for you, and I hope this has inspired you to get involved with your own rituals and ceremonies and keep this journey going. You're on the right track. And until next time, namaste.